Hey pumpkins, how are you? We are starting to learn something new in science. We're learning about the four spheres. So when I say sphere, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by sphere? Well, a sphere is the shape of a ball. So it's not a circle, it's actually the shape of a ball. So these are three-dimensional shapes that we're talking about. And the Earth actually has four spheres. There are, let me move my photo here. The geosphere, which is also sometimes called the lithosphere, so you need to know that those two names mean the same. Hydrosphere, you probably know what hydro means, right? Hydro, think about the bad guy in Spider-Man that's named Hydro. Biosphere, which is from the same word as biology. And then there's atmosphere. So today we are starting with the atmosphere. But before we start, let's do a little warm up. And everybody's going to get a sticky note. So you can either write something you know about the atmosphere, or you can draw something that is related to the atmosphere. So feel free to pause now so that you can do that. All right. Back at it, guys. All right, so there are four spheres, as we said, the geosphere, also called the lithosphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. Today, we are learning about the atmosphere. Atmo comes from the Greek word air, okay? And this includes all the gases around the planet. And there's basically just this blanket of air that surrounds the planet. So a big blanket of air that surrounds the planet. When we think about atmosphere, we usually think about weather or something that goes along with that. But today I want to show you some new stuff that might help you think about the atmosphere in a different way. All right, so first, let me show you this. Now, this is kind of a cool little thing that was happening in the 90s, and some of it sometimes still happening. But these guys are high schoolers, and they have decided to send a weather balloon up. And they put a phone in there, a camera, and they use the phone for the GPS. And what they have is a weather balloon. And they're going to blow this thing up, blow this weather balloon up, and actually send it up into our atmosphere. This is really cool. So I'm going to actually speed it up a little so you can see it a little quicker. But you can see here they're filling up their weather balloon. And they're going to basically see how far up will this go? Will it go all the way outside of our atmosphere? What do you think? What is your hypothesis? All right, so there they go. They let it go. Wow, what a beautiful landscape. I wonder where they are. Probably Washington, because it's beautiful here. All right, there it goes. Gorgeous. And now we're seeing a view from the weather balloon. So this is the camera looking down at Earth. If you look too long, you'll get a little seasick. You might have to look away, motion sickness. But what's really cool is look where they are. They are all the way out in space. Also, for all you people that are flat earthers, I just want you to take a look at this Earth here. It's not flat, guys. It's not a flat Earth. All right, but besides that, do you see this really pretty like blue glow around the Earth? Guys, that's part of our atmosphere. And it actually goes all the way up to the point where it extends into space. And it's not a blue sky anymore. When it gets to that point, it becomes black. But all of this, all these pretty blue, interesting layers in between the Earth and space, that's our atmosphere. Now, what eventually happens, I'll tell you, they get so far up into space that their weather balloon pops and it just starts falling. And this is the point where it starts falling. So I'm going to kind of fast forward. Also, just a reminder, The Earth is not flat. And for anybody that is a friend of yours that says it is, please inform them how silly they are. All right, so it eventually does land. They're using the GPS to find it. They drive out to the field, and oh, look at these fuzzy little pigs. How cute. Eventually, they find their device and they bring it back, and that's how they were able to upload the video. There it is. And that's how we get to see the layers of the atmosphere, right? Very cool. All right, so back over here, our atmosphere. Now, we have these really awesome books called Science Source. Some of them look like this. Look like this. All right, doesn't matter because either book has the same diagram, which looks like, wait for it, this, layers of the atmosphere. Okay, so we're going to use this page to help us, and you might be thinking, but Miss Lee, I don't have this book. Oh, guys, don't you think I have this covered for you? Clearly, I have this covered for you. Over here, there's layers of the atmosphere. This is just the help. So this is just to help you. This is the slide right here where you will see this, okay? And if you notice, down here at the bottom are the mountains and the clouds. Then there's the part where the airplanes fly. This part right here, this is where asteroids burn up. And speaking of that, do you know why asteroids burn up as they enter our atmosphere? Because there's actually friction with the rock from space, right? It's coming through and it's burning up. It's literally so hot, it's burning up. Can you imagine getting so hot that you can burn metal? Well, something kind of, rock, something kind of similar happened when the astronauts went to the moon because their shuttle was damaged. So when they're coming back in, there was this fear, oh my gosh, are they going to burn up? Like literally the people at NASA were saying, I hope they don't burn up because their heat shield was broken. And oh, great. Ads. Wonderful. Okay, so that's why he says it's been a pleasure flying with you. And little Kevin Bacon is getting all teary because they really thought they might die. And I'm also going to speed this one up. Just like a meteor entering the atmosphere, a space shuttle goes under a tremendous amount of heat. And you can see right here, this is the same thing that meteors go through. It burns it up because they're traveling so fast, the gravity is pulling them so hard, and it gets super hot, the friction of the air against whatever's coming through. So you can see why they burn up. And doesn't that kind of look like oh, poor Kevin Bacon. Doesn't that kind of look like a meteor entering the solar system, or excuse me, entering our atmosphere, coming from outside of space? Well, I won't ruin the end of Apollo 13 for you. But let's go back over here. So you're going to actually do a craft, guys. Isn't that exciting? And I'm going to pause right here to show you the craft. I'm back. Okay, so what you're going to do to make our craft, which is a layers of the atmosphere craft, you can take a regular piece of paper and fold it like you're making a card for somebody, okay? And then fold it one more time, just a little piece, because you're going to unfold it, and that's going to kind of make sure that you don't cut your book in half, okay? Good job. Okay, then you're going to take your atmosphere help, which is the layers of the atmosphere picture that is from your science source. And you are going to notice that these layers are not all the same size. Let me show you what I mean. Right here. Okay. So notice the first layer here is the troposphere. This is a pretty small layer compared to the mesosphere, which goes all the way here. Then you have your exosphere, I believe. No, darn it. Okay, so we have troposphere, stratosphere, that's bigger. Then the mesosphere, then the thermosphere, then the exosphere. So exo always means outside. So that's like outside of our Earth's atmosphere almost. Thermo, do you remember what thermal energy is? Wait time. Thermal energy is heat energy. So that's that part where it starts passing through and it gets really hot. And then the next layer here, which is the mesosphere, is where you will see asteroids or meteors coming in through our atmosphere and burning up. Down here in the stratosphere, this is where airplanes fly. And the troposphere is the the very closest layer to Earth. That's where we live. Even the highest mountains, even Rainier with snow on top, is still in the troposphere. So you're going to try and kind of make these sections of the atmosphere. You might be thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. No problem. I made you a sample. So see how this part, it just kind of makes sure that you don't cut it all the way to the crease. Okay, and on that part, you're going to put layers of the atmosphere. Then for each layer, now notice my troposphere, it's kind of skinny, especially compared to my thermosphere or my mesosphere, okay? And my exosphere is a pretty thin layer. So you're going to draw basically this picture that you see here. If you want to add, like, where would hot air balloons go? Where would the space shuttle be? We know where the International Space Station is. It's way out in the exosphere. So I drew mine way out in the exosphere. Now you might be looking at this part right here and thinking, what is that? That's like a weird, like blurry cloud. Well, that's actually the Northern Lights. And guys, the Northern Lights are like super amazing. I've never seen them myself, but from magnetic radiation that we get from the sun, it causes certain parts of the earth, basically the poles, the North and South Pole, to see this magnetic radiation. And it just looks like this magical, like glowing cloud. Sometimes they're green, sometimes they're purple, sometimes they're kind of orange. I drew mine like green and orange. You can see it there. Really amazing. And those are called the Northern Lights. They're also called an aurora. Okay, kind of hard to say. All right, and so that is going to be your craft project that you're going to work on. And then tomorrow we will return to our atmosphere and we will start taking some notes on it, including the different layers and the gases that are as part of our atmosphere. Okay, I hope you learned a lot through this video. We'll see you tomorrow.